What's the deal, y'all? My name is Christian Taylor, and you're watching the Courtney House Show.
Thank you all for watching another episode of the Courtney Hall Show. I have an awesome guest in the building with me. It's Christian Taylor. How are you doing, Christian?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Listen, I'm so excited that you're here in the studio with me.
Me too. I appreciate you having me.
Listen, I appreciate you coming. So I met you because, taking it back a little bit, I have a friend, Christine. She trains with you. And I saw the awesome videos that she was posting. And I was like, listen, I need to get in the gym with that trainer.
For sure.
I went to the gym my first time, your gym, and the workout was amazing. And I was like, okay, well, it's the first time, you know, beginner's luck, or you know how the first time is just great. But every workout, it was just amazing. So talk about, how did you get into training?
I got into training, I started when I was still in college, 2010. Me and one of my buddies that played football with me, we went to a small town like right outside of San Antonio, and we trained like one of his cousins. And just that experience to be able to work with those young kids, having already liked kids, was fun, and it kind of grew into something else.
Speaking about family, it seems like you're so close to your mom. You know, I checked your Instagram page and your social media pages out. Your mom, your dad, it seems like you're rooted in family, like that's your foundation.
For sure.
Safe to say?
Yeah, so yeah, it was just basically just me and my mom growing up, and I had opportunities to spend with my dad as well.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Now, let's go back to Westfield High School.
Yeah.
On the football team. How did you get on the football team? Did you audition? Did they tell you, hey, we want you to be on the team?
No, so yeah, football for me, like, I was kind of a late bloomer with it. All my friends and buddies that I hung out with, they all started like playing Little League football, and I didn't play football at all. I did like other sports, like I played soccer, I did basketball, I ran track. But I started playing football when I was in 7th grade, and my dad, he played as a professional athlete as a receiver.
Oh, for what team?
He played for the Broncos and the Chiefs.
Nice.
So he spent time with both of those teams. And me just watching him and seeing the love for the game, you know, I kind of decided when I was in 7th grade, I'm gonna go out for the football team, and I already knew I wanted to play receiver because I wanted the ball, I wanted to be able to catch the ball.
Right. That's nice, that's nice. Okay, so you're in high school at this moment. You made the team, you're on the team, and you're playing ball. Did the love grow stronger for football, or was it kind of like, oh, I see that they get a lot of money, so I'm gonna go ahead and play football? What was that like? Yeah,
so my love of football grew, but for me in high school, it was kind of funny because I really liked basketball a little bit more, but I was probably better in football, and everybody would tell me all the time, like, man, CT, you probably need to go try to play football a little bit more.
Okay.
So, I mean, I always played football, but I always had basketball right there as kind of like the sport I use to try to express myself. And when I'm having a bad day or when I'm going through something, I'll go out there and shoot some hoops. So that was something I could always, you know, go back to. I had a basketball hoop outside, so I would be able to shoot. With football, you kind of have to have other people around you to be able to, you know, exert that energy.
Right. Did your dad like push you in that area, the football arena? Did he push you to be greater or to continue to play?
So my dad, he really never pushed football on me ever.
Oh, wow.
He actually told me to play track or run track rather growing up. And
why? Did you ever ask why?
Yeah, so I mean, I would ask him why, and he would tell me because you're gonna train yourself to be able to run. And at the time, like, I would push back and be like, well, I'm faster than, you know, pretty much all the kids I raised. Why would I need to run track?
Ooh.
And he was telling me basically that being able to practice and sprinting full speed, you know, through track practice, through meets, I was training my hamstrings and my legs to be able to sustain that type of sprinting throughout other sports. So that's what he was trying to teach me, and it didn't register with me until when I was in college, when I wouldn't, you know, at a point where I needed to run track anymore.
So let's fast forward to college. You're in college, you're playing football, and at this point where you're thinking, I'm gonna go to the pros.
I didn't really have a point where I was ever thinking, I'm gonna go to the pros. My whole thing was I always had to prove myself to kind of be a starter where I was at. So my first thoughts were, you know, I need to be able to start at this school that I'm at and then, you know, just be the best teammate I could be. So I was never one of those players who was, you know, worried about, I guess, the next step. I was just trying to do the best I could in the moment.
Yeah. Now, when did you hurt yourself? What year was that? Do you remember?
I hurt myself so many times. Like,
what was that injury that made you feel like, okay, I can't play football anymore? What was that injury?
Okay, so I had graduated from college. I did pretty decent, and I had a trial that I went to in Houston at the Reliance Stadium for the Texans. And during that trial, I was doing the L drill, or it wasn't the L drill, it was the shuttle drill. And
what's the shuttle drill?
So it's like basically you start at a cone, you run to the right for 5 yards, you run back across for 10 yards, and then you go back to the right to finish for another 5 yards. So 5, 10, 5 drill. So anyway, so I started off, and on my first turn to go back across for the 10 yards part of the drill, the bottom of my cleat got stuck in the turf. And so when I went to push off, my knee kind of just buckled and gave out on me. So I mean, I finished the drill, but afterwards I knew something was going on because my knee like instantly swelled up. So one of the trainers that was on staff there, he came to me and he was like, hey, I see that you had some trouble right there at the end. Let me check your knee out. So he checked it out and basically told me that I needed to lay off of it for the rest of that trial, but that he would send me to a different facility, you know, to get a trial there, you know, and in between that time, I'd be able to go to the doctor and kind of try to see what was going on with it.
Well, great job to that trainer who checked you out and said, hey, just lay off of it. But how did that make you feel? Well, first off, you continued the drill and your knee popped. You felt it buckle, and you continued the drill. Okay, that shows you how tough he is. Because I would have been like, wait a minute, y'all, wait a minute, hold on. I feel some type of popping. No, but how did that make you feel?
I kind of felt like all the training I had done up to that point was all for nothing because in the moment I needed it the most, you know, I got hurt. You know, whether I was going hard or not, or whether I was impressing anybody or not, when you get hurt in front of those type of scouts, that's pretty much it. Like, you know, they're gonna go to the next person that's not hurt, basically. You know.
Oh, they automatically X you off.
The NFL is all about who's available right now. So, you know, I knew that reality, and it was tough for me at the time. But like I said, the trainer gave me an opportunity to go to a different facility to try out. So it was cool to be able to try to get through that process and go to that next place.
So you went to the other facility, you did the tryout. How did that go?
Yeah, so in between that time, they sent me to Baltimore probably about a month later. But in between that time, I had gone to the chiropractor who was kind of basically giving me like extra good stretches in my legs, trying to get them loose. We did some stem treatment to try to loosen up those muscles and regenerate, I guess, some of those joints. And so I went to Baltimore and I felt a lot better. Probably overall I was about 80%. So I went out there knowing that I wasn't my best, but that this was my second chance. So, you know, just do what you can. But so I went to that trial. That trial was pretty solid. I did some solid stuff on the field and in the exercises, but I kind of had a feeling when I got all done with it, I kind of sat down and I was like, yeah, this kind of feels like, you know, this is it. Like I'm I was 23, like struggling to get through that exercise just because I knew my knee wasn't all the way right. And I actually had a pro day at my school the next week.
Well, how did that feel, going back to being 23, having these dreams, you're there at the tryouts? How did that feel? Like, what goes through your mind? Do you feel like you failed? Do you feel like, what else can I do? What am I going to do? Like, what does that feel like?
I don't feel like I failed, but I feel like, you know, I had the same story that everybody else who got hurt had, as far as like, oh, maybe you could have made it, but you got hurt type of feeling. So I wasn't down on myself because, I mean, I had been dealing with adversity with injuries for pretty much my entire life since I was little. You know, I had little, you know, breaks in my foot and just little things that hindered me from being able to play full season. So I wasn't down on myself, but, you know, of course I wish it could have gone differently.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Yeah, so you're there, you're saying, okay, this is it. And then what? Did you go back home or did you stay in Baltimore?
No, so the trial was just for that weekend. I went back home. By the time I got home, like, I think because I was sitting on the plane for so long, like my knee swelled back up. So at that point I was like, you know, there's no point in me going back to Kingsville because if I go, you know, I won't be good enough to do anything. So I know they probably took my teammates, you know, like, dang, where is CT at, you know?
Yeah. Because you were a key player, you were good.
I mean, I was one of the guys who contributed to the team, no doubt. So, I mean, I felt like I had a chance if I could have stayed healthy over the course of my, you know, over the course of my career. I definitely had some moments where, you know, I was in different situations where I was like, yeah, maybe CT, maybe you can do this, you know. But
you realize you're not going to be playing football. You got to do something. So is that when you said, okay, I'm going to become a trainer? Or was it like a battle to figure out what you were going to do?
Yeah, so when I first got done with, you know, that for a while, I kind of had some trouble. I came back to Houston. And I kind of had trouble because I felt like, you know, I got a college degree. I didn't really have a backup plan. My plan was to play football. So when it didn't happen, I didn't really know what to do. But so I'm sitting at the crib just trying to figure out what to do. And my brother calls me and tells me, hey, there's a job at my school. Man, just come and make a paycheck, basically until you really figure out what it is that you want to do. And so I up and moved like maybe the next week after I did my interview and, you know, started a life in Dallas, you know, for 7 years. I was out there for 7 years. I just came back to Houston a year ago, so.
Nice, nice. And you're from Houston, right?
I'm from Houston, yeah.
Nice, nice. Did you like it in Dallas or were you?
I loved it in Dallas.
Okay.
Dallas is like real similar to Houston. The only difference is like for whatever reason, Houston and Dallas guys don't get along for whatever it is.
For whatever reason, it's always been that way.
It's nothing serious, but it is serious, I guess. But
So did you meet your wife out there?
No,
or
I didn't.
You?
I met my wife in Houston like at a workout. And that was like while I was still in college.
Nice.
And we kind of kept in touch. And then we ended up hanging out like later on whenever I graduated and I was back in Houston. So
So did you reach out to her or did she reach back out to you?
I can't really remember, but I mean, we had been friends, so it wasn't anything where there was long distances or long periods of time where we wasn't talking. We would kind of talk here and there and check in and see what's going on with the other.
And then it blossomed into marriage. And you have 2 kids.
Yes, I have 2 kids. I have a 6-year-old boy named Ethan and a 2-year-old daughter named Marley.
Oh my goodness. And they are so precious. They are so precious. Listen, if you could be on the field, who are the top 3 people that you would want watching you?
Probably like my dad, just so he can, me and my dad got this competitive thing going on in the family, like who's the most athletic person in the family. And he always says himself because I guess collegiately, he did the best collegiate wise, but I feel like I was the better athlete because I played more sports and I was more successful overall in more sports. So we kind of go back and forth at that. But everybody in my family is pretty athletic. Like all my cousins play some type of sport. So yeah.
Okay. And you're the only child?
I'm the only child to my mother, so my dad has 3 kids, all boys, and I'm the middle one. But to my mom, yeah, I was the only child. It was just me and her growing up.
Oh, that's so nice. Now, what do you like about competing? Even with training and all that good stuff, like, what do you like about it?
I just always wanted to be in the mix, like be one of the top people in whatever it was. You know, it's fun to be able to have somebody across from you that wants to beat you just as bad as you want to beat them. It's just, I guess, something about the thrill or the rush of, you know, just going against somebody, even if it's just something small.
So you came back to Houston, and now you're a teacher. You're successful at that. Were you still training then?
So I had been teaching maybe for, I want to say, 2 years.
Okay.
And kind of where my seriousness into training began was in 2015. I got a call from my dad, and my dad told me that my granny had fell in the shower, and that she had to go to the hospital just because when older folks fall like that, they want to check them out. Yeah. Well, when they checked her out, they told me and my family that she had cancer.
Oh, wow.
And so I guess they did some more testing stuff on her just to try to see, you know, what else they needed to do. You know, if there was some type of timetable they can give us, they would give us a timetable. And they did. They told us that she would be good for around 3 years, 3 more years, but, you know, they would do the best that they could do. So she was in the hospital, and when I found that out, I went to like a 7-on-7 football game to kind of clear my mind and play some 7-on-7. And I guess me not being active like that, like actively sprinting and running routes like I kind of told you in the beginning, I guess just my body wasn't ready for those type of movements anymore. So this was the first, like, you know, athletic thing that I did where I was competing against other people. And so I went out there, and like probably like 15 minutes in, I ran a post route, and I beat my man over the top. I gotta mention that. So it would have been a touchdown, but however, I during my route, like I planted my foot in like a hole that was in the grass and went to jump up to go get the ball, and my knee popped in.
Oh my
and
God.
this was the 3rd knee injury I sustained in my career, like just playing football, I'm saying.
Yeah.
And so that was tough. So when that happened, I went to the emergency room pretty much just for them to tell me I need to go to a sports doctor and you know, probably have some type of surgery. But so I went to a knee specialist I had been working with since I was in 9th grade. His name is Dr. Winston, but he gave me an MRI and told me that I would need surgery on it. So they told me, you know, they didn't have any appointments left for like 2 weeks. So I stayed put in Houston or Dallas, excuse me, for 2 weeks. And then after that, I came back to Houston. Like the day I came back to Houston, I went and saw my granny, who was in the hospital still, just because they were just checking her out, like I said. And she looked fine. She looked like she was doing a great job. Like, I couldn't tell that she was even sick at all. She was her same jolly self. She was joking with me, you know, all that type of stuff. And after 2 weeks, my mama drove me back to Dallas. When I got back to Dallas, you know, I unloaded my stuff. My mama helped me into my apartment I was living in, and I got a call from my brother's girlfriend at the time. It was like 1 a.m.
Oh, wow.
So I looked at my phone and I was like, man, what is she calling me at 1 a.m. for? It must be something important. So I answered, and she was like, hey, your brother wants me to come pick you up. And I'm like, all right. So she came, she picked me up, and
that
she
didn't
took
seem
me.
strange to you?
I mean, it seemed super strange, you know, especially for what I had just left Dallas for, you know.
Gotcha. Hearing
that my granny was sick, and you know, me trying to get over my injury, is just a lot going on. So I came back, and she took me over to my granny's house. That was what she was picking me up for. And when I got there, my granny was in her room, like on ventilators, on breathing machines. And my brother was in the room, my dad was in the room, my uncle and my auntie were in the room. And basically when I stepped in there, I could hear the breathing machine, but I already kind of knew what was going on. And I looked at my granny and I walked up to her, and I could tell something was going on with her. But when I walked up to her, I put my hand on her hand and she grabbed my finger.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that was awesome to experience.
Yeah.
Especially with my uncle telling me that was the first she had like tried to move at all in
wow.
like 3 days.
So she hadn't moved at that point at all?
No, so she had been sick that entire week, just nobody told me.
Wow.
They waited till I came back before they told me. And in that Wednesday, she was in, you know, her transition stage. So basically, you know, that night I went upstairs, went to sleep, and that morning my brother's girlfriend woke me up and she was like, you know, it's time to come downstairs. So I walked downstairs. On the way down there, I didn't hear the breathing machine anymore, so I already knew what time it was. But that was a tough time. So like in that same month span, my great uncle, my brother's uncle, he had passed away. My granny, she was the second one to pass away like 3 weeks later after my great uncle. And then my great uncle's sister, my great Aunt Helen, she passed away 3 weeks after my granny. So it was like boom, boom, boom right there.
So how was your mental at this point? Because you're dealing with injuries, back-to-back family members passing away. How was you, like, how did you get through that?
It was real tough for me because, you know, me going through that, I wasn't mobile, so I felt like I was a crutch to the people that were helping me be mobile. And so this is where kind of my love for training, you know, deepened. So my dad, he wanted to carry my granny's casket out like Whitney Houston's casket got carried out. And I was supposed to be one of the people on the, you know, on the corner. And I was in crutches still, so I couldn't do it. And at that point, me being down in that moment on myself, like I couldn't be, you know, somewhere where I was supposed to be in that moment, whether it seemed selfish or not. I just wanted to be a part of that. But me not being able to be a part of that, I was like, I don't want to be in a position where physically I can't do something I'm supposed to do. So my experience with the Quarterback Ranch, which is one of the companies I was working with, they do sport-specific training. So I was always kind of doing like receiver training, training receivers out there in Dallas, but never had switched over to like personal training and, you know, that type of stuff. But, you know, with me focusing on my own body, in my upbringing, I didn't know anything about training or, you know, why that would be useful or anything. In school, they always told us just work out, just work out. So I mean, I worked out hard when I was with the team, when I was at school, but other than that, like I didn't do any type of workouts and stuff like that. So
and you know what, people, it's crazy, not to cut you off, but we don't know the importance of working out. You know what I'm saying? And people like you are doing a great service to our communities because, you know, we're getting to tell, or you're getting to tell people, hey, your body is a machine, and if you train it and work it out and mold it properly, it'll last for a minute.
For sure.
So take it back to the first day you started training at All In. What was that like?
I was kind of antsy because I didn't have any clients come in for me. My buddy Justin, he kind of threw me a couple clients, I guess, to see, you know, what I had. And I had already been training a plethora of clients in Dallas, so I had already had experience in it, but none to where he could physically see me and see what I was doing. So that was. Were
the clients like, oh, I don't want to train with him, I don't want to go with him, or were they like, okay, let's do this?
No, not at all. He introduced me as his big brother, and after that, like the energy from the clients he had, you know, they trusted in me just off of that.
Nice.
So, I mean, I didn't feel any type of pressure. I just went in there and I did me. I do what I always do. But
now education, I feel like education, and I said this on an Instagram post, that's like your foundation. Before anything, above anything, especially whenever I'm working out with you, you'll say, hey, fix this. Don't worry about going fast.
Right.
Worry about your form. That's amazing. You don't hear trainers do that. They just, let you do whatever. They get your money and then bye. We'll see you another time. What made you say, I'm going to really train these people? I'm going to really make sure that they know what they're doing. Is that just a natural instinct or is that strategic?
I think for me, like, one of the things is...
And why are you so rude whenever you do it? I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. You're not rude.
Well, I think for me, one of the things is, like, when I really want to do something, I'm gonna put my heart in it. I really want to pay attention to the fine details of it. But it's just natural for me to be able to, want people to do the best that they can be. I want to see people be able to succeed. So it just came natural for me to be able to, help people. I think my background in education helped me to understand, how to push people a little bit more.
And then you have your company, the Fitness League. Talk about that.
The Fitness League. So I started the Fitness League in 2016.
Nice.
And it was just something where I wanted to start my own brand, something that I believed in. And then I try to use my brand to bring other, trainers, other like-minded individuals, not just any other type of group, but something where we can collab, somewhere where we can, spread ideas and try to attack them together. Not just, something that everybody else is doing. You know what I mean? You mentioned that I like to spend time teaching. One of my goals with my training is to be able to teach everybody that I'm working with enough to where one day if they really wanted to be a trainer, they could. It'd be easy for them to just, go take a certificate or certification and go get that certificate to be able to train and be able to feel confident when they're working with other people.
Nice, nice. Well, if we want to support you, join the Fitness League, how can we do that? Where can we follow you?
You can go to Instagram at OTF_CT. That's my personal. And then you can go to the Fitness League Texas to follow my Fitness League page. There's a lot of good exercises on there, some motivational pieces on there. So, if anybody wants to reach out, I'm there.
Okay, and you know what? Listen, what would you say to your younger self if you needed to talk to young Christian?
I would tell my younger self, don't play basketball on the concrete. And then I would tell my younger self, like, training is important just to get your body in a position where when you play sports, you don't have injuries come and happen. Like I said, I was always one of the faster kids. I wasn't one of the stronger kids, but athletic-wise, I was one of the most athletic kids around, so I relied on just being athletic and not necessarily a strong, solid body. So I think when you collab and you combine both together, you build a special athlete, so that's what I'm trying to do with that.
And what would you tell young boys that are wanting to go to the NFL, the NBA? What would you tell them?
You got to make sacrifices sometimes. If you want to do some of the special things, such as, play D1 ball first off, and then go to the NFL, you got to first just do everything you can the right way just to get a chance at those things. You can do everything, exactly how you're supposed to do it, and sometimes it doesn't work out, but it's at least giving you an opportunity to be able to do some of those things. So first and foremost, I would just tell people to, be attentive to what they're trying to do, have a plan, and then do the best they can to put people in their corners that will help them see those things through.
That's so awesome. And you trained a lot of cool people too. Some of the people you've trained, tell us who you trained.
Being in the gym, I've been able to train a
lot of
people. A lot of, I can't even just come off the top of my head with some of the people I've been able to train. There's been so many opportunities for me to, train some athletes, train some, singers. I've been able to train some celebrities, kids. But I think for me, one of the most rewarding things for me is to be able to train younger kids and family members. Like, I've been able to train my mom over the past couple of weeks, and it's just been amazing for me to be able to see those I can't do into, I'm doing it, but not just talk, like actually seeing it happen, and then being able to train young kids and see them grow so rapidly is just an awesome feeling. Seeing them to build that confidence. A lot of kids, you know, they don't have a lot of confidence when they're kids because they just don't understand what's going on. They don't understand, you know, how to move. They're still learning. So to be able to take a part of that journey is just amazing for me.
That is so awesome. That's amazing. So do you have a couple of, you know, workouts that you can show us, the little moves that you can show us?
I can definitely show y'all, you know, some moves.
Okay, can you show us right now?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, cool. I'm excited.
Back again, I see you came back.
I love it. I'm ready.
You know the motto?
What's the motto?
I'm gonna kill you, but you're not gonna die.
Oh, Lord. All right. It's all on you. You're going to show me a couple of things, right?
All right, look, Courtney, since you begged me to show you a couple of different
I bet
things,
you. Okay.
we're gonna start off with just a basic squat, all right? So I'm gonna teach you 3 different variations of the squat. All right, the first one is just the standard one, all right? So just feet shoulder width apart, all right? Try to keep your toes pointed straight, and you're gonna try to go back on your heels as deep as possible.
Okay.
All right? So go nice and slow. You're gonna go for about 6, all right?
All right.
Here we go. Ready, set, go. Nice and slow.
Okay.
There you go.
Now, what is this working exactly?
So this is working just the top part of your quads.
Okay, the top part of
So I mentioned the 3 different variations of a squat. This one here is just the standard, just the basic version. All right, we're working just the top of the quad, all right?
Gotcha. I like it. And so I keep my feet planted on the ground, right?
Yep, keep your feet planted towards the ground. You want to push to your heels on the way up. All right, you want to put the balance of your body weight on your heels. All right. If you're on your heels, then indeed you're working those quads. All right. If you're ever on your toes, then you're working your knees, working your shins. You don't want to put those things under stress. So you want to make sure that you're sitting back.
All right, sounds good.
So the next one is we'll put our feet a little bit wider. All right. Sumo squat. All right, now I'm working the inner part of my thighs right here. So same thing applies. I want to sit back on my heels. All right, and I want to go nice and slow as I go on the way down. We'll do about 6 again, okay? Here we go. Ready, set, go. Good. Focus on your chest being up. Push through those heels.
Nice. And this is focusing on the inner. Okay, nice. So how many reps do you have to do to actually feel everything, start to see everything? Like, how many reps should you be doing during a workout?
So it just depends on the focus of, you know, whatever the exercise is, what you're trying to do body goal wise. But sometimes, you know, you'll work between 3 to 6 reps, and sometimes you'll work to 10 reps. Sometimes you'll go a little bit more and work between like 12 to 15 reps. So again, it just depends on what you're trying to focus on throughout your workouts.
Okay.
All right, and then the last one we're gonna do is nice and narrow. So we're gonna put our feet inside shoulder width. All right, now we're gonna work the outer part of our quads. All right, a little bit more glute focus on the outside of our glutes right here. All right.
All right.
Same thing. We're gonna go for about 6. All right.
Okay.
Here we go. Ready, set, go. So one of the things I like to focus on throughout my training, I talk a lot about balance, a lot about stability, just because, you know, when you do everyday things in life, you want to be able to have balance. You don't want to be, you know, knocked off balance. You want to be able to control whatever it is.
You better preach.
Sometimes people fall, you know, but if you work on your stability, then, you know, in some situations, you won't have those issues. So.
I love that. That's awesome. Thank you for showing me some stuff.
Yep. Drive those body parts wherever they need to go. You know what I'm saying? Your knee needs to drive up, your hand needs to drive up. All right, use those arms. Arms and hands run together. All right, or arms and legs run together. All right, here we go. Stay on the turf. You ready? Ready to go? Stay low, lay low. There you go. Good. Finish. Good, good.
That was better.
Yeah, that was way better. All right, so we went here, broad, catch, 1, 2. Remember that one? Land, 1, 2. All right, but keep your knees in though. You remember that? So you're gonna broad jump out for distance. As soon as you land, 2 steps. All right, you go all the way down. All right, you good? Just be you. If you mess up, then we're gonna go again. It's all right. Do slow. As soon as you land, go. As soon as you land, go. Bam. Good. There you go. Heels, heels, heels. Sit back in your squat, all right? I'm gonna move a little bit faster with you, but this time I need you to sit back. You got me? As soon as you land, you driving whatever leg you gonna lead with, all right? Drive that knee up, okay? Push on that back foot, drive that front knee up. You got me? So if you gonna land here, boom, you right here. Got me? Drive it up. Really drive those knees up. You okay? It's more important for you to land in the correct position than for you to try to get distance right here, all right? So I do want you to get distance, but I want you to get it with the best technique possible. So technique first and then distance, all right? So what am I trying to tell you right now?
Work on my technique and get it down before I start speeding it up.
Right, so you sit back on your what? On your heels, all right? And you roll forward. Got it? Here we go.